This is part 1 of my Moodle quiz tutorial. This tutorial will deal only with creating the questions, which is the first part that we'll go over. There's a lot that goes into creating a Moodle quiz. We're going to keep it pretty simple. I'm not going to go over like categories or anything like that with you, but I will help you build a functional quiz. So to get started, you're going to scroll down, and in your administration block, you're going to look for questions. This is going to take you to the question bank, so click on questions. At this point, it's going to say here default for EDU 244. That's just all the questions in one group. Now if I had gone and created some categories, which I would in a real course, I would drop that down and find the category I wanted. So I might have one category that's writing, and one category that's creating, and one category that's collaborating, and then I would just create the quiz questions that went in there, or like chapter 1, chapter 2, and I would create them under that category. For purposes of this tutorial, we're going to just stay right here. So keep everything how it is, and where it says create a new question, you're going to drop that down. We're going to start with the true false question, so it's at the very bottom. Now the question name the students aren't going to see. I keep a specific naming convention for myself. So let's say this was from my chapter 1 of whatever I was teaching. I would do CH1 and then I would say A. So it'd be chapter 1, the first question would be A. That's how I would label it. The reason you would do this is if you just put 1, then the next chapter you put 1 and you hadn't created any categories, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So that's just how the naming convention is, just a way of organizing things. Your students won't see it, it's just for you. In the text box editor, you would put your statement. Now remember, this is a dynamic text box editor, so you could have them watch a video within the quiz and have to respond to that with true or false. You could have them listen to a podcast within the quiz. So remember, that's all a possibility. For now, we're going to keep it simple and straightforward. True, false question. So I'm going to put the sky is blue. Of course, this can be subjective, but we're just going to pretend that the answer is yes. So this is a true question. This default question grade is how much this question is worth, and I'm going to keep this question worth 1 point. We're not working with an adaptive quiz, so we don't have to worry about a penalty factor. Feedback is if you put anything in this feedback, everybody will get it after they answer the question. I'm not going to fill that in at all. That's just something you can do if you would like. The correct answer is true, so I'm going to change that to true. And then here you can give feedback depending on what they choose. So let's say they choose false, and I want to say, remember that we're talking about a typical sunny day, so the sky would be blue. Then when they answered it incorrectly, they would get what I was trying to have them learn. So you can use those if you'd like, but they are not required. That is also completely up to you. When you're done, you hit Save Changes. Okay, right here is where the question is, Chapter 1A. I want to talk a little bit about these tools. This little magnifier tool, that will allow you to preview the question, which will come up in a pop-up box. It will allow you to answer the question to see what happens, and it's telling me when I answer false that it was incorrect. So you can see how it works. This little paper and pencil is the same as it is throughout the entire Moodle course, which is editing the question. You see, ooh, I misspelled a word. You don't have to retype an entire question. You can just edit it. If we had more questions, this would move them up and down. This deletes the question. We'll talk about this box later. So let's go over a multiple choice question. So I'm going to go down to multiple choice, and I'm going to keep to my naming convention, so chapter 1B, because it's my second question. Then I'm going to type here, which of the following is my favorite color? So this is where the question goes. Again, this is only going to be worth 1 point. We're not going to be using any penalty factors. Like, for instance, if I had more than one correct answer, so much would be docked off for what they answered incorrectly. So, but I'm going to leave that. Just always keep that at the default. Feedback is the same. Okay, you can have that only one answer is correct or that multiple answers are correct. I'm going to keep mine at 1, but let me tell you about the multiple answers. If you choose multiple answers, then whatever the correct answers are, they have to accumulate to 100%. So let's say you have 4 answers. You cannot have 3 of them be correct unless you weight them 50, 25, 25. Because if you weight them 33, 33, 33 percentage correct, then it never gets to 100%. It will not allow you to add that question. So keep in mind, if you do a multiple choices are correct, you have to weight the percentage correctly to where it comes out to 100% exactly. Shuffle the choices means that the answers will be shuffled so that if someone's sitting next to someone else, they won't be in the same order. So it helps alleviate cheating. And I am going to keep that on. This is how they appear, the answers. A, B, C, you can do 1, 2, 3. You can have them not numbered at all. You can have it capitalized. I will also keep that at the default. Here's the answers. So one option for my favorite color would be maybe red or yellow or blue. Well, my actual favorite color is blue. I always type that first. Because my answers are shuffled, I always put the correct answer first, and for the grade, make sure you scroll up to 100%. Then that means that's the correct answer. Now, if you go down, there's a negative 100%. You do not want to ever have that. So ignore that, keep it at 100%. And I can give feedback if I want. The rest, if I have none, it means it's incorrect. So red, yellow, green, those are the choices they get to choose from. I'm going to scroll down, and you can have tons of possibilities. You can keep adding more if you want more than 5 possibilities. You can add more feedback if you want, and then you're going to hit Save Changes. So now you have both of these. I want to look at it, make sure it looks right. It does. I'm going to answer the correct answer. It's green, so I know it has the correct answer. This is where I can move them up and down if I wanted. These little symbols just tell you the kind. This symbol means multiple choice. This means true, false. Okay, I'd like to go through 2 more types of questions. The next one we're going to do is going to be matching. So for matching, I'm going to keep to my naming convention, Chapter 1C. Then I'm going to say match the term to the correct definition. You're going to scroll down to the possible matches, and this will shuffle everything, which I keep it on shuffle. You have to have at least 2 questions and 3 answers for this to work. So when I do question, I actually think of that as the description. So if I put here mouse, I would put computer hardware used to move the cursor on the screen. I use Firefox, which allows me to make sure that my spelling is correct, but unfortunately this just isn't in the dictionary, so that is correct. So the next one I might have monitor, computer screen that displays internet sites. I'm just making these up as I go. I might have another one, let's say a keyboard, computer hardware that allows user to input information. Okay, then I could do 3 more choices if I wanted to, and I could keep going for however many matching I want. Now let's scroll back up, and remember right now my question grade is at, this is worth 1 point, but I actually have 3 separate questions or matches in there, so I'm going to change that to 3. You can change it somewhere else as well, but I want to show you here. Okay, so I'm going to hit Save Changes. There's my 3rd one. It's a matching. You'll see the symbol is different. I can look at it and see how it works. It allows you to choose. You can submit the correct answers. You can change things using the editing button. And finally, we're going to do an essay question. So type essay. I'm going to stick with my naming convention, Chapter 1D. I'm going to say, read the essay on page 24 of your textbook and answer the following question. Then I would put something like the question here. This is the question. Okay, here's the deal with an essay question. This cannot be automatically answered. So, I mean graded. So you're going to have to grade this one. All the others will be graded by Moodle by the way you set them up. So I'm going to leave that there. You can give feedback. That's it with this one. Now, usually an essay question wouldn't be worth 1 point. I'm going to make it worth 5 points. Then I'm going to hit Save Changes. And I'm going to go ahead and look at it. And this is what the students would see. They would see the question, they would fill in the answer, and they'd hit Submit. You don't have to include an essay question on your Moodle quiz, but if you want to, that's how it works. So at this point, you've created questions, you understand 4 different types of questions, you are ready for the second tutorial on Moodle quizzes.